Perhaps there was something that we ate. No different than what the Israelites were so consumed with. What are we going to eat? The staff that I hold. What do these stories represent? Moses going to the mountaintop. Is the mountaintop a physical mountain that Moses goes to, or is it the heaven that Jesus was talking about? The kingdom of heaven is within. Perhaps this is heaven, and the body is earth. And what you loose on earth, you loose in heaven. And what you bind on earth, you bind in heaven. So the good things you do on your physical body, you can reap the rewards inside of the spiritual storehouse, or the spiritual command post. And whatever you do to injure the physical body, you can also injure heaven. Peace. It's TutemRa reporting. Today is September 16th of 2025. And I wanted to share a thought. Ultimately, you could say the wind brought this thought. I wrote a rhyme once that said, even the wind is whispering. But the wind, what is the wind? The wind is the presence of this unseen force. You can't see it, but you can feel it. Ain't that something? It could take up shape and form too in dust, and you can see it. You know, the wind. I was sitting here, and I was in the middle of responding to a text in my cell phone. I was into the thought of what exactly I wanted to say to convey the correct message. And it wasn't trivial. It wasn't a big text. When all of a sudden the wind hit me. And when the wind hit me, it felt good. And as the wind felt good, I mean, that's one of the five senses, right? Wow. Feeling good. Something made me feel good. It was soft. It felt good. It made me think about God, about the nature, about the all. And in ancient Kemet, the symbol, the metal netta symbol for what we call the nature, which people would liken to God, is symbolized as a flag. A flag. A flag blowing in the wind. Shoo, shoo, shoo. The wind, the air in ancient Kemet was called SHU. Shoo. The ancient Kamites didn't worship many gods. I just got deja vu. They didn't worship many gods. They just very, very meticulously personified each aspect of God. Different principles and fundamentals of God. You know? And they see it inside the animals. They can see God within nature. So when man began to understand, that's what represented this aspect of God. The qualities, characteristics. And if you think about what today is, I'm in Mississippi. And who it is that I claim to be in Mississippi. In the climate of love and hate, the balance, the tides have changed in the wind. The angers people have, the fears people have. See, man is trying to become God. They say that man at his highest level is God, and God is at his lowest form is man, or something to that degree. It's interesting because we don't We don't instinctively know what to do when we get here on Earth, most of us. Except those special people who somehow have these gifts. They have these gifts that they can't explain. Some people just are gifted with things at birth. Some people might say that they brought that from another life. Which brings me back to my point of me not harboring any anger when I think about who it is that I proclaim to be. Or not proclaim, but prove to be. I prove a fundamental. It's not that. I think people should put aside, yes, they're two important people in the past. But you have to understand, put that aside. I've already written a book. The book is very scientific. This is not a small book. It's not what you think it is. This is like what needs to be focused on is the science that I put in the book, how I came to the conclusions, how I was able to unlock certain hidden doors, how I was able to do it. A lot of it was based on the decisions I made, because everything, the unseen air, there's something measuring all the actions that you do, all of them. So that is just to say that as you're here on this earth, you are not, it is not, how should I say this? It is not that you've gotten your hands dirty while you've been to earth. That's not the thing. Some people learn to do things in their ignorance. It is about what you do when you get correct and sound information. Sometimes that is your journey to transform that, illness. Because illness becomes wellness when you change I to we, Malcolm X. So in life, the act of becoming, transforming oneself. In life, they say there's some things that are definitely unforgivable. I don't hold harbor for anger. I don't harbor anger for any group of people. But the world is a violent place. I don't pack a weapon for any group of people. I have a weapon just to be safe. Sometimes I question that. Sometimes I question, do I really need it? If I'm walking through life peaceably, do I really need it? That's something that I wrestle with. Haven't had to use it. That's a good thing. Don't want to. Amenhotep, man. Amenhotep the Third. He was a diplomat. He reigned with peace. And there's a way that we can do things peaceably. We control the winds of change. We control the winds of change with our actions. We must change ourselves first. We must change ourselves first. When you point the finger, those are three pointing back at you. See? Three pointing back at you. Transform yourself. There's a scripture that says, take the log out of your eye before you take the speck out of mine. Vice versa. So this is something that we should focus on. Was the human being naturally a being that knew its purpose like every other animal initially? Was it like that? Or did it slowly progress to that point over millennia, hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years? Did that happen? Did it happen naturally? Did we come that way, or did we progress? And if we did progress, what was the cause of the progress? Well, they say you can eat to live or you can eat to die. Let your food be your medicine or your food be thy poisoning. Perhaps there was a something, dragonfly. Perhaps there was something that we ate. No different than what the Israelites were so consumed with. What are we going to eat? The staff that I hold. What do these stories represent? Moses going to the mountaintop. Is the mountaintop a physical mountain that Moses goes to, or is it the heaven that Jesus was talking about? The kingdom of heaven is within. Perhaps this is heaven, and the body is earth. And what you loose on earth, you loose in heaven. And what you bind on earth, you bind in heaven. So the good things you do on your physical body, you can reap the rewards inside of the spiritual storehouse, or the spiritual command post. And whatever you do to injure the physical body, you can also injure heaven. So when I think of the flag, and I think of people putting their flags down, gang, I think that we should, no one should be ganged up against. We shouldn't gang up against people. All people should be able to walk peaceably on the earth. All people should have a fair opportunity for life on earth. No one should be ganged up against. The problem with the word gang is that sometimes when you get a group of people together and they're not led correctly. That's why you have a shepherd and a sheep. When they're not led directly, they'll herd mentality. They will herd mentality. And they'll do what the group is doing. Which is why ancient Kemet was so different. It was a civilization that was built on fundamental principles of nature. There was a moral compass. We had ascended to a state of enlightenment. I mentioned Israelites a second ago. And light. Words mean something as this light shines down on me. The biblical. You have historical. You have different civilizations in their attempt to explain the creation story. That's what you have. And you have the oldest creation story that instead of taking that creation story and studying it and realizing that everything came from it, I understand how I got here. Flags. Remember the Necha in ancient Kemet. The word that we call God was closely connected to the word Necha. And the Necha were the different gods they say, but it's with the different elements of God. As the wind is blowing so soft on my back now. You had the different elements of nature. Blowing hard, blowing soft, blowing warm. You had moisture. You had Geb, the earth that you walk on, so that you can have a place to walk on. You have water, noon. Some people question, is that water up there? I wonder. I can't say that I know, but I wonder. It would make sense that that's where the water that rains comes from. Of course, we have clouds. Would you ever go to the lake early in the morning and you see the fog across the lake? Well, sometimes when you're looking in the sky and you see clouds, perhaps that's just fog on top of the lake. interesting, the movies where people go into a boat and they fall through the bottom into another earth, out the sky onto the earth. Perhaps you can go through that thing up there, go through some water, come to the top and be at another place. Who knows? Israelite, the light within you. It's not about your whiteness, it's about your lightness from the rays of the sun. From the rays of the sun. You can't see this butterfly flying around right here, but it's gliding on the wind, gliding on the wind. Wow, like a paper plane. Wow. Looks like fun what that butterfly was doing, the way it was flying. The question is, how does this all relate to one's freedom? Freedom. The wind blowing on my skin. These senses. Being free of the control of one's senses and pleasure seeking. See, that's spiritual freedom. Because there's a lot to be said about the person that does put the desire for fleshly pleasure aside to work on the Israelite, the light within you. If thine eye be single, the whole body be full of light. So that's what we should pay attention to, aten. We should pay attention to the forces of nature. Perhaps if we improve ourselves, we can become a force of nature. A force of the nature. An instrument used to transmit positive energy throughout the world and your surrounding. See, here's the problem with this statement that I've definitely experienced. See, I don't make this statement currently because I am full of light in all the areas of darkness within myself. No. But I strive to be. I strive to light my entire temple, to light it up. You feel me? To light my whole fire, to let my light shine. I'm working on it. I see the body as a ship, a vessel, a machine. It's a distiller of my soul. And so I work daily. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm not where I want to be, but I have the motivation. I've had quite an experience in life thus far. I know that we don't get this one life. That's why now I'm so adamant about trying to get as much as I can out of this one that I'm in now. Not knowing when it might end. I don't know that part. So I'm careful. I move to be safe and to spend my time building. And the building that I'm doing, I have to start with me. I have to first build me in all aspects of who I am. I have to understand who I am. What did Malcolm say? I pray that you understand your place in the world today. The problem is that we live in a world that is so monetarily consuming. We consume so much of our time with monetary to make sure that we can sustain ourselves in the world today. So much so that sometimes you look at the homeless people on the corner and think how much troubles they don't have. More stress-free. A lot of time, all of these responsibilities, they can bring upon stress. But that's to say that if you are walking down the street and you someone knocks into you, someone bumps into you, and you drop something, or you have water in your hand and you spill the water, you ask yourself, why did you spill the water or drop that? Guess what I'm trying to say is that Whatever you have in your pocket might fall to the ground. Whatever you have in your cup might fall to the ground. When you are faced with adversity and you get hit in a way where you lose your balance and you spill what's in your cup or you drop what's in your pocket. So if you have anger in your cup, anger might come out. If you have happiness in your cup, happiness might come out. Joy in your cup, love in your cup. But we are in an unknowable world to some degree. We can't know what's coming to us until, of course, we do know. Sometimes we get intuitions and we know something, like Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass instantaneously knew that he had been betrayed. He was trying to be free from bondage. We need to get free of ignorance, free of sickness, free of pain, free of anger. Try to make the right decision. Think about the things you do before you do them. It is the summertime, and it feels very good. If I stood here in January when it was freezing cold with the same clothes on, the same attire, it might not feel so good. And if I were to stand here right now with the attire that you would wear in January, at this very moment, I might feel too hot. Always be prepared. Right place, right time, right uniform. I shine, you shine. In this day and time, we maintain the same frame of mind. Spend your time putting information in your brain and utilize that information to bring light within your temple, light within your mind. Got a little visitor. Oh. Want a better view? Little visitor.